So today I wanted to talk about the foam roll. Now, for those of you who are not aware what a foam roll is, most gyms, and if you don't have a foam roll system in your gym, you'll go out there and start it today. So the foam roll is those cylinder things that you'll see in the gym. It doesn't function as a workout. It's just sitting there in the corner. You've probably walked past it a few times. Maybe you've tripped over it. But what the foam roll is this your own personal masseuse? Let me go to some details on that. The foam roll, also known as the self myofascial release, is loosening up the muscles. So let's date back to 10 years ago when you were much younger. Getting out of bed didn't take a half an hour. Your lower back didn't feel like it was crumbled up like paper. You were very loose. Your body was limber. You were able to do things. You were able to do the splits, or you were able to just kind of maneuver around and not have to pay for it for a week. So over those years of putting your body through all these acrobatic movements and all these wild things you've done, the muscles will tighten. You may not know it then or feel it then, but they're happening daily. Tightening, tightening, tightening. Imagine a very slow motion crank that is just slowly moving and it's never stopping. Even though you may not be doing anything for 18 hours of the day physically, if you are doing it for a few hours, it's still tightening. And the reason it doesn't stop just because you do is because you're not releasing that muscle tension. So releasing the muscle tension is pretty basic understanding. You go to a massage, they're massaging you out, it hurts. All those knots, they're digging it in. Well, all those knots and those muscles didn't just come up and pop up overnight. Those were a work in progress, and it was a work and job well done if it hurts, which most of the time it does. Now, the foam roll is not something that is only going to benefit certain people. I'm going to run down a checklist really quick, more of a questionnaire, and if you answer yes to any of these, the foam roll is for you. Question 1. Do you have tight shoulders or neck? Question 2. Does your lower back tighten up, making it hard to bend over or making it hard just to stand up straight? Question 3. Do any muscles in your body cramp, tighten, or just feel uncomfortable? If you answered yes to any one of these or all three, which I want to guarantee you at least 9 out of 10 you answered yes to all three, the foam roll is for you and it will change your life. I was introduced to the foam roll about 6 years ago. But mind you, I've been in this industry for 18 years, so there's a good 12 years of my life that I wasn't aware of this tool. It was there, it was around, but much like you didn't really pay attention to it, especially if you don't know its benefits. Why would you? I mean, it's not your fault to not know what it's for. So the foam roll was introduced to me a long time ago, 6 years ago, and how I was introduced to it was we were at a Muay Thai event. If you don't know that, my family and I, we used to run a school of Muay Thai, and we would have a lot of our students compete. So we would travel regularly to these events, and in the back you have the doctors, you have the people giving physicals, you have the rules, you have the judges. So there's a lot going on behind the scenes when they're not in the ring. And yeah, there is this person out there, a sports therapist, and he had this thing that he was rolling around with some of the fighters' backs, and I'm looking at him, watching him, just trying to figure it out. Like I said, I'm a student, I like to learn. I wanted to figure out what he was doing. I've seen him massaging, of course, we've all seen that. I've seen the little Chinese balls that you rub in just to kind of help make something feel better. And I'm watching him, and he's doing different positions, different angles. He at one point brings out like this stick, very simulating a small version of the foam roll, and he's just going in there, kind of like you're rolling out dough on the human being. So after he finished up his session, I saw he had some free time, so I walked over to him. I wanted to just ask him, what it is he was doing and how it was benefiting the fighters. And he asked me a few questions about my life, and I've been doing this a long time, especially on the very physical aspect with the Muay Thai training. If you're holding pads for somebody over the years, there's a lot of abrupt force coming at you, so you're having to make sure that you're able to adjust your hips, your position, and sometimes you have to tighten, lock up your muscles. Over the years, those muscles, again, they're tightening that crank. So I said, yeah, you know what? I have these, and these issues, and he laid me down on the table. As he's rolling me out and I'm biting down, breaking this table, basically, he's explaining to me what I'm experiencing, why I am. All the years that I've been putting my body through this extremely intense things, and I wasn't doing anything to release that tension daily. And I told him, I stretch every day, multiple times a day. Static stretching is not the same thing as muscle releasing the tension. Static stretching is great to keep us loose, to keep our body healthy. The foam roll is going to be what really just kind of soothes, makes the quality of life a lot better, prolongs injuries. It's going to definitely help with current injuries. So static stretching is just something you should be doing just for life. The muscle fibers in our body tighten up. The foam roll is just going to help loosen them up, giving you mobility, its most functional and most capable aspects. Mobility would just be the movement of your joints, your arms, your legs. One, just be able to maneuver around just like this. And anytime you move around, your body, your muscles, they're moving around. If they're tight, you're going to limit your mobility. So the foam roll can get into places really deep inside the muscles that a static stretch is just not targeting. So they both have to coexist, static stretching and the foam roll. So the foam roll was introduced to me like I was telling you. So I went back to my gym and I took his words. He said, for 2 weeks, I want you to foam roll for 10, 15 minutes every day, twice a day, because of how extreme my case was. So I did it. 2 weeks, boom. I set times aside in the gym. Here's my 10 minutes at this time of the day. Here's my 10 minutes at that time of the day. 2 weeks, that's the goal I set. I was going to listen to his advice. He's a professional. 3 days. 3 days into it, my entire body felt 10 years younger. It hurt. Every second I was on the foam roll, it hurt. It was uncomfortable. But as the days went on, and I'm talking 3 days, it began to feel good. It began to feel good because there was a shift in the muscles being so tight to starting to loosen up. And if your muscles are loosened up, the impact of the foam roll doesn't hurt as much. So now it starts to become more of a massage. Once you shift from your muscles being tight of all the years to loosening up with the myofascial release, the foam roll, it becomes the most pleasurable experience in your life. And it should be a staple at that point forward. 2 weeks later, I was 90% gone, everything. All those that decade and a half of me putting my body through extreme things was 90% gone in 2 weeks. I am a 100% firm believer, fan of the foam roll. I preach it to you guys all the time. And I don't do it because I'm an affiliation. I don't get paid from them. I do it because it worked for me. It's worked for 10 out of 10 people that I've put into their workout program. Any of my clients or members. 10 out of 10. In the math terms, that's 100% success rate. So if you are not foam rolling, you need to start now. We have 3 of them in my gym alone, and there's different types of foam rolls. So you just want to start with any foam roll. Put your muscles on it. And there's a lot of different ways to do it. Maybe I'll release a video on how to use the foam roll. You can go anywhere. It comes with a little paper on how to use it if you buy it. You just want to make sure you start it now. Your life will change for the better. Everything about it is going to make everything so much more pleasurable, and you'll never turn back. Foam roll will be life. You will own one. You will carry it with you. It will be in your backpack, in your trunk, everywhere. Grab it, start using it, change your life now with that simple addition.